actually focusing on diversity-related issues. I apologize for holding myself, but I don't want to talk. One of the book that we have focused on for this academic year is The House on Mango Street. And one of the major themes that are focused in the book is actually the themes about overcoming challenges. You're faced with challenges on a routine basis. What do you do to overcome it? In the book, it talks a lot about one central character and how she actually overcame those challenges. So what we will be doing for the next hour is really hosting not only a panel discussion, but also just a discussion with all of you as well. I'm hoping that everybody will feel comfortable to come to the mic and share as you're requested on the different subjects that we're talking about tonight. But let me introduce the members of our panel. First, we have our moderator, Eve Gomez. She is a wonderful person and a wonderful addition to our group. She's really done a lot as far as really getting the message out in terms of not just diversity awareness and Latino issues, but also promoting positive outcomes. What can we do to really move things forward versus staying in whatever challenge or whatever issue we're dealing with. So thank you so much, Eve, for participating. To Eve's left is Rachel Santolano. She is a fourth-year nursing student. Hello, Rachel. Thank you for joining us. And sorry, we had another student that was supposed to participate with us today, but unfortunately he was unable to come. So we have someone else stepping in. If you could please introduce yourself, I apologize.
Yes, my name is Joel Perez. I'm part of the Latino fraternity.
Next we have Brenda Cantalana. Is that correct? Cantalana, sorry. She is a sophomore pre-med and bio student. So welcome. Thank you. And to her right is Sebastian Navarro. He is a freshman with an undecided major. Maybe I can remember. I am stepping off the podium now, and I'm going to leave everything to Eve. But I wanted to mention that we will be passing out kind of just a little feedback form, and we would love for everyone to please give your feedback about the different events that were taking place today, and also any events that you'd like to see take place in the future for the committee. So thank you. We can get started.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, as she mentioned, my name is Eve Gomez, and it gives me pleasure to be here with some young students. Some of them maybe is young enough to be my own kids. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but I have a very young spirit, and I share the love and I share the diversity that I see here as the audience as well. And we're going to touch some hearts and some souls here today with some questions, and we're going to learn from each other. And you, as the audience as well, is going to partake in this because we want to know what your thoughts are, what you heard up here as well, and compare your experiences versus theirs as well. And I know that I can read you guys read an awesome book, The House on Mango Street. Did you all read the book? Some of you? All right. Well, we have some questions we're going to start out with, but first, of the four of you, any of you were born in this country or not?
Yes.
You were born here? Yeah.
I was born in Mexico.
You were born in Mexico. Well, so was I. So. Zacatecas. Okay. Google Zacatecas and we know where that's at in Mexico, right? And that's with a Z. Okay. So, being that we have three that were born in this country and one that was not, we can actually share some differences. And I can also experience some differences and share with you with some of the challenges, if there has been any. I won't say that because you're born here you aren't having challenges or you are having challenges or now. So one of my questions I'm going to ask my first panelist, and I'm sorry, that was Sebastián.
Yes.
Mucho gusto. Buenas tardes a todos. You know, we got to be bilingual here in this country. Okay? You're worth two knowing a second language. I'm an interpreter, so believe me, it's worth knowing two languages. Whatever other languages you pick up, you are worth twice the value. Sebastián, you've been in, how old are you now?
I'm 18.
18. With the society that you have here, and I mean IUN, we're going to keep it focused here in the campus. Have you had any challenges or obstacles in your life?
Well, like at the moment, no. But growing up, I did. And
Yes, please.
okay. Well, growing up, I didn't know English at all. Both my parents were born in Mexico. all of third grade, I was completely Spanish, and it was hard to talk to other kids. But it wasn't until I reached fifth grade and I actually started bilingual classes, and that's how everything started. And now, I mean, I speak English and Spanish fluently. So, I mean, that's part of one of the big obstacles in my life was just learning how to speak English. And it's shown in statistics. It shows that 59% of dropouts is due, well, with Hispanics, is due to just poor English. And 4% of that 59% of the high school dropouts were immigrants. So, and I actually read that online, and it's actually, and I was able to relate to that because, and thank God I'm in high school. I know during high school and now here in college, I'm able to speak both languages, but in the beginning, it was a struggle, and thank God I was able to overcome that.
Were you treated differently because you didn't know the language and didn't conquer it as well?
Well,
did you experience that?
I mean, kids would ask, I remember hearing kids ask me like, oh, how come you don't speak English? And they're always curious about me, like, where's he from? But after a while, I mean, I got over it, so, yeah, mostly.
How about you, Henry?
Just like you said, not right now, but when I was growing up also, I didn't know any English at all. I was born here, but when I was 7 months, I was taken to Mexico, and I was raised there until I was 8 years old. Then I came back to the United States. Everything was real different, all the morals, the values, how everybody just talked to each other. And I didn't know any English until I was around the 6th grade, 7th grade. I'm still practicing my English, as you hear my accent. And I guess that's the biggest struggle that I ever went through is learning how to speak English, since my parents only know Spanish and everything we talk in the house is Spanish. So I'm still going through a little struggle with my English, like in classes when I go to my English class and we have to type that essay. I have to go get tutoring on how to expand my vocabulary and how to make my sentence a little bit more structured than I can say.
So you would say that's been your biggest obstacle?
Yes.
Or challenge, I say.
Yes.
I would say one of my biggest challenges, and this might be living in Northwest Indiana area versus something like Iowa in specifically. When I was growing up, there's unlike the book, she kind of brings it up, not in her own family, but she brings it up in a lot of that she sees, is the big part of machismo. And that's, I think it's a big problem in the Mexican American society, as Latin American society. And that was one of my biggest struggles, where I could see things like my cousins who are half white, half Mexican. Just for example, like at Easter, their mom would bring play clothes, but my mom would still make me wear my dress clothes from home, and I get in trouble if I got dirty. So there's different things, like my father, he didn't understand why I had to go, or how I wanted to go to like homecoming my freshman year in high school. And he didn't understand why I wanted to go out every Friday night with my friends. He said, why do you want to go out every night? You don't have to go out every weekend. And I can see the differences between my struggle with that machismo part of him and what my brothers didn't have to go through. And they could go anywhere and do anything. And I constantly had that struggle that I actually have overcome over the years with that. But that is a big focus that I saw in the book, and a big challenge for me, not so much as with I'm Mexican American and I have prejudices with the society that's here in Northwest Indiana, but more within your own home life, where for some reason you have a curfew at 9 o'clock when these boys have no curfew, and it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And for what? For machismo reasons? Which
So it's the culture. It
Oh,
all
much
goes
of the
down to the culture.
Yeah.
Right. What about you, Mr.?
Well, okay, so I feel like, right now I did have a struggle not so long ago. This is probably the first year that I was able to fix that. As I mentioned before, maybe some of you guys know, I used to pay out of state to get to come here, and I lived in Indiana for about 10 years. And I was paying out of state, so I was only able to attend IUN part-time like the last 2 years, probably something around that. So that was my struggle, I had to work and still have to pay 3 times as much as any other student, still living in Indiana. So I told you guys I was born in Mexico. I was brought here when I was 4. So I was still raised like I was American. I went to bilingual school when I was a kid. So I never really saw any struggles when I was a kid, unlike they did, because everybody around me spoke English and Spanish since I started school. Because I was growing up, they eventually put me in English classes, and that transition was a little easier being back in Chicago. But as soon as I moved here, that's when I started struggling, because unlike Indiana, they don't give you as much, I want to say, benefits. They see you different, so there's a lot of benefits that you can't take. So I would see, people going to trips, going to the zoo, little things like that I wasn't able to do just because, I wasn't born here. So I would say that's probably one of the struggles I faced.
So would you say that also has something to do with the culture? Your upbringing, not doing the things that you want to do?
Yes and no. No, because I was still able to do all those things. I just had to fight a little more than everybody else. I had to go around and do other things to do it well.
Well, back to this book, I know that there's a question here, and you have some knowledge of the history of the Chicanos in America and how they arrived here and their place in society, and you guys experienced some of that. How does the House of Monmouth reflect this history? How is the Chicano treatment in society, i.e. their systematic exclusion, alike or different from that of other minority groups? Anyone before can answer?
Well, when I was reading this book, I was thinking a lot more of something like East Chicago. Now, like before, it was a different population, and now there's more Hispanics living there. But I know that a lot of them came historically in the 50s in the trains, into the 40s and the 30s. The men would come because they were working on the railroads. They were working for the meat districts. They were working to make the road, the crossroads of America, which is Chicago's still known for. And then, like my family, my grandfather on my mom's side, that's what he did. He was here, my grandmother was here with him. Her mom got sick, so she moved back to Mexico, and my grandfather would go visit, and so my mother and her older brother were born in Mexico. But the rest of them were all born in East Chicago. So it's kind of like, I can see when she's talking about the book, when different people are coming and going, and how, Gordita, I don't remember the name that she said, characters, how her husband brought her, and she didn't want to even learn English. And it's like, some people are just like that, they just didn't want to learn, and I think there's still some who don't even want to learn English. So there's that delicate line between, I don't want to learn English, and then in society, how are we supposed to help them out and say, we need to learn Spanish to help out these people? I think that's a big issue amongst the society right now. There's a question in business, in healthcare, in school, and academics that really needs to be answered and addressed as well. The part of needing to teach, and then there's some people who really, they don't want to learn.
And it's true, and in my experience, and I'll add to it, because you mentioned that gap where some don't need to learn, don't want to learn, and because I'm an interpreter, I'm involved in the legal side as well, and I'm a translator, so when I see something in all English, I say, well, is this in Spanish? We are always, I think, to think that it needs to be open access to everyone to understand, is this in Polish, is this written in Greek, is this written in Spanish, to make it easier for the whole community. But you're absolutely right, we should also want to succeed in learning that different language, learning that language as well as we spoke, which is English, and that can be a challenge. My mother was raised in Mexico, but when she came here, she raised all 8 kids. She still to this day does not speak English. Maybe the okay, I'm okay, fine, thank you, that's it. because all she did was a homemaker, so she really didn't need to speak the language. Anyone else want to weigh in on the question?
I think I can kind of add on to that. Like I said, my father was born and raised in Mexico, and he would always tell me stories growing up of like how his struggle was and everything. And he told me at the age of 17, almost 18, he actually came to the United States for the first time, and not knowing Spanish, not knowing English, a lot of opportunities he didn't have just for the fact that he had poor English. So going to school right away, that was one of the issues again, because he didn't know anybody. Most of his family at the time lived in Mexico, so from what I remember, he had two uncles that lived out here, so, and they speak only Spanish, so he really raised himself growing up, and so I just feel like that's my input there.
Anyone else? We're going to go to the next question. So, how does identity affect one's overall perception of life? How can it impact future success? What measures can we put into place to promote a positive identity? Now that we've all come across one way or another with some kind of identity to really know who we are, and what we stand for. So, how does identity affect one's overall perception of life? And how can it impact future success?
Well, in the book I was reading, the mother and the daughter, Esperanza, they were having a conversation in the kitchen, and I remember the daughter was talking about her school and everything, and then she asked her mom, like, how are you in school and everything, and she said that the reason why she quit school was because she felt ashamed of her clothes and what she wears. But she did say that she was very smart though. But what stopped her was just the fact that she didn't have the clothes that the kids had in school. She was scared to be judged by other people. But she always said that she wished that she could overcome that during that stage, because now she's just a stable mother. She's just watching her kids while her dad's out there working. And I feel that with that being said, your identity is affected by that, because you should have more respect for yourself as a person, and if you know deep inside that you can reach those goals, it shouldn't affect who you are as a person, because I mean, now you don't see just I can't pronounce it, Caucasian people. You don't just see them. You don't just see those people now running organizations or groups. Now you see a lot of multicultural people that run different organizations. So I mean, I feel that to promote. What was the second question?
What measures can be put into place to promote a positive identity?
And I just have respect for yourself. Respect who you are as a person, and encourage others to do as well.
I could add something to that. I think you said something about role models. I think that's one thing that's really important, that helps you succeed as a Latino. Like you said, you don't see much Latino success, but it is out there. There's a lot of Latinos running things, being out there. So I think just seeing Latino success a little more, showing them that there's other people that look like you, actually doing stuff, being successful, that alone will make other Latinos, be proud of who they are and want to succeed, want to do better.
Just like you said about the Esperanza and his mother. My mother, when she was growing up in Mexico, she was a very poor girl. She didn't even have a book bag. That's what she tells me. She had a plastic bag to take her books, because her mom, she sold tamales outside in her house, and that's how they survived the whole time. And my mom, after the years, she became a teacher. Her brothers became lawyers in Mexico, and they were very, very powerful people in Mexico. And what didn't stop them, it was the respect for themselves. Like he said, to have an identity is to have respect for yourself, to know what you are. Even though you start from the bottom, you have to keep pushing yourself to respect yourself and to say that they'll get better, you know. Material things don't matter, just like Spence's mom. She wished she could stay in school. You know, my mom didn't really care about the material stuff, but she knew that everything's in the brain, you know, anything you could do it if you set the goals to do it. And that's what I think. Identity has to be, you have to respect yourself to get somewhere in life.
So in other words, if you're thinking negative of yourself, feeling less of yourself, of course, it's going to affect you in the overall perception of what life is really all about. Correct?
Well, when I was growing up, and I've talked about this in different women's literature classes, like with me, my mother, she did very well for herself. I mean, she will always say, oh, it wasn't really anything. But when we were growing up, she worked for AT&T, and she had to always study in order to get up and higher, and she always thought she was too young to go to school. But someone told her that she was too young. And my mom's brilliant. I mean, with math, I'm not that good. I'm not blessed in math. I'm blessed in speaking. But she, yesterday, because I was telling her about this book and what we were going to say, I said, you know what, you just always told me I could do it. Like, I never assumed that I couldn't do it. Because even though my mother, I always saw, and I still see, she crochets beautifully. And I tell her, oh, Mom, you can make that. She goes, no, I'm not that good. And I'm like, yeah, you are. You're awesome. Like, you really are awesome at crocheting. Like, I can't crochet that well. I know my limits. And there's certain things where the way I was brought up was, I think she tried to instill in me that you could do everything that she wasn't given. Because she said when she was growing up, all 7 of her brothers were out there doing whatever they wanted, playing, going up and down the trees, you know, firecrackers and the frogs and all this crazy boy stuff. And my grandmother said, no, you sit here and cross stitch with me. So she didn't get to do that. She didn't have anything to empower her in that way. You know, I mean, because there is the culture where there's men and women, and I mean, especially I think in a Chicano way, we have a big issue with like, I have friends who, they're like, oh, you always act white. I'm like, I don't act white. I don't have an accent. There's a difference. I have no accent in Spanish, and I have no accent in English. That does not make me white. I'm not white. If you want to sit here and speak about Mexican history, I will be able to talk to you more than you will. That has nothing to do with that, and that's another issue within our own subculture that is not even brought up, because you want to better yourself. Sometimes you get it from your own culture that you're trying to be something different that you're not. And for me, I'm just trying, right now I'm just trying to pass nursing school, you know? I'm trying to graduate. You don't even have time for anything else. But I really feel my identity was brought because of my mom. I am that strong because she was not. A lot of things at home, she'll be sassy. She'll like, this is what I want to tell that person. And then, but when she's in front of that person, she's not going to say anything.
It's empowering you.
Yeah, and for me, I'm not scared of anyone. Like, there's nothing, like, no one can take away my faith, my education. They could rip off my skin and I'll still be me inside myself. So, there's nothing anyone can take away. My degree I already have it. If the school burns down, I still have it.
So that.
my previous degree. So there's certain things about identity that you learn, and I think it's hard as Mexican Americans that I see a lot of my friends really still struggle with.
So what do you say the measures should be put into place? What measures should be put into to promote that positive identity?
I think things like this. You know, I think women, for me, it's more of a woman issue, not just period, but, you know, breaking the boundaries of what, like, you know, you say your family, how you're still struggling with your English. I mean, I don't know what that's like. I know what it's like when I studied abroad, and I was like, I felt dumb because I had to ask my parents to mail me in English about Mexican politics and then write about Mexican Americans, sometimes we don't even trust another Mexican. Say, oh, I don't trust them. I won't look at them. And there's deep-rooted issues in there that we're not even bringing up right now. That's a big thing that we all know about, but I don't know how someone who wouldn't be in the Latin American culture would understand.
That goes back to the last question about the Chicano treatment in society and how they differ from that of other minority groups, how they treat each other. Well, say you have anything to add to what we just discussed about the identity. Well, we're getting back to the book. The dreams and hopes of the book's main character are often symbolized by their house. What symbols have inspired you to move past challenges and strives for success? I'll jump at once.
Alright, well, in the book, Esperanza always talks about her dream house and how she harped about how her parents would always say one day we're gonna have a house that we call our home, and she something else, and that was her symbol. But for me, it would probably just be the fact that seeing my parents, just for the fact that seeing the way they grown up, through the struggles that they've been through, and I use that as motivation just for me to be successful, and just in life in general. And I think that's been my biggest motivation, and what I use all through high school, all through to where I'm at now, just see it's like everyone else. And I think my parents are cool. This has been my biggest symbol that represents me.
That's your house.
We can go away. So yeah, I don't have an object. It will be my family. They have pushed me to do everything to become the woman that I am now. Like he said, seeing them struggle, being in Mexico and seeing that everything's not as easy as it is here in America, has made me push myself a little bit harder. You know, I was like raised in Chicago as well, and it wasn't the best place to live. And being there has pushed me to become a better person. You know, seeing that a lot of people are just there doing drugs, and there was a killing, 7 people dying a week. And you know, just seeing that makes me push harder, and seeing other parents push harder to move from Chicago to raise my little niece to become a better woman. It's also pushing me, you know, to be someone in life. It will be my parents and my sister and my brother, just be my whole family.
So that's what made me inspiring both of you from the past challenges to strive for success.
Yes.
Yes, he said what?
Just like them, my symbol pride and family. Since I was a little kid, my dad would tell the stories how my grandpa would always, sacrifice everything he had just to get my dad into college. And so my dad has brought me up the same way, where I see him struggle and I see him fight just to get me to college. And my whole family always supports me in everything I want to do. So I think that's that's a huge symbol. I'm sure a lot of Latinos symbol is their family. So we're really family oriented. My brother inspires me a lot. He's 1 year older than me. He already graduated. He's working for Pepsi. He's an engineer there. So he's always pushing me. He's always challenging me too. It's kind of like since we were little, just challenging each other to be like each other, be better than each other. So he's a huge part of my motivation in life.
More like he's living by example, showing you that if he can do it, so can you. So just keep moving forward.
For me, it's harder to think of a symbol. I mean, like, I've been blessed where my parents did all the stuff. Like, my father grew up in Mexico till he was about 17, went with the Cambodian missionaries, studied around the world, and then decided not to become a priest. And then he ended up in Chicago where he met my mother, and then he went to school to be a machinist. So, I mean, when you're little and both your parents are studying, you don't know anything different, you know. I know that I'm blessed that I time we went to Mexico, and I had never seen third world poverty in that way. Like we went to where, you know, different barrios where kids would just have underwear on, and there's just dirt streets, and the kids would climb onto the back of our minivan, and my parents were like, see, this is how people are. And I still didn't. I started getting it, but then one time we were by the beach, like right on the ocean, and I didn't want the shrimp tacos because we were like Americans, you know. I wanted my, I was getting Mexican food. Yeah, I wanted my chicken nuggets. It's like I was just like craving it because we spent like 3 weeks in Mexico, which I mean, no, that's not a lot, but you know, for a bragging little 8-year-old, you know, you're done. And I would eat this like taco. You know, at home you're gonna eat something. Eventually, your parents are gonna give you something.
Right, they'll find it, right?
Well, my dad took this child aside, and he asked the child was begging for food, and he took him aside, and he let the kid sit up with us, which for the kid was a big deal, because he didn't get to sit. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Mexico, but there's little stands, and there's little chairs around each little hut that has the food, and they're all slammed next to each other. So the kid sat right next to us, and my dad asked him what he wanted his shrimp taco and how many he wanted, and I wouldn't eat chile at the time, like I was such a brat. And the kid just was so excited, and he ate and ate and ate these shrimp tacos, and then my dad gave him something to go for his family, and I felt like a piece of crap. Like I really realized how well I had it, and then he took the child and bought the child a hat and some new shoes and things like that, and he gave the kid, he made them give the kid a receipt so the kid would go home to his parents and realize that someone bought them, and that he didn't just steal them. And I didn't even understand that, like, so that was a big impression on me that still humbleizes me that I'm, you know, yes, I'm Mexican American and I strive to understand it, but I'm coming from a different world where I didn't know that kind of model. My parents, we built our house in '84 in Hessel because my grandpa gave us the land. So I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I didn't know anything about public school. Like all we knew was my parents, I had one pair of shoes, one pair of Sunday shoes. And that was it. Because we all three of us went to Catholic school, and my parents showed us the tuition all the time, and they showed us how much they made. So I always knew how much money my parents made and how much we were costing them each one. I mean, I'm blessed because I've always been blessed by my parents, but it's a different kind of struggle. You know, like, I'm going to get A's because that's a lot of zeros. He didn't give a discount for 3 kids.
Right, right. So the symbols here that inspired you to move past your challenges to strive for success, is you would say that story that you experienced with the little boy may have something?
It had a huge impact. Like I can't deal with that. I'm that kind of person that I saw that I was such a brat.
Unappreciative?
Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't know what that was back then, right?
Right. I mean, that was a big point, you know, that everyone's a person. Because the kid was so happy, and I was like, I didn't even want that.
Right, right.
It's still.
So change of perspective and some things as far as value.
I felt really bad for a long time after that. It really did change my view on different people and how I am as a kid and where I do play in the world in that. You know, because there's so many different types of us.
What about you, Jose? What symbols have inspired you to move past your challenges? You know, concerning the book with the main character often symbolized by the house. principles have inspired you?
Just I guess that it will probably be my brother, my family.
So, you, the audience, you've heard some of the similarities and some of the differences. So, because you were born in this country, and because you weren't, you were still, I think it all is surrounding around culture. Here we have, we're all Mexican, am I correct? Yes, okay. I was born in Mexico. I came to this country at age 7. I did not know English. It was a culture shock for me because everything was so different. You know, those who had come from Mexico visited, we have open patios. We didn't have a furnace. We didn't have air conditioning. What is that? What is all of that? Microwaves, what was that? Mainly in a black and white TV. When I'm 8. So, coming to this country, I picked up the language like that. So, I started learning at age 7, started from kindergarten all the way through. I was in public school to 8th grade. And my cultural diversity, I would call it training because I got to experience it, and it was a great experience that maybe all of you have taken for granted maybe. I was raised in Gary. Predominantly back in the 70s was a lot of Latinos and African Americans. When I got to high school, that was the first encounter in parochial school. Otherwise, I'd be, as they call it, I would be the brightest thing in Horseman High School back in those days. So, learning a language was easy for me, but not for my twin brother, who had a twin. He stayed behind. So I can understand when you're saying how you're learning a language or not, or didn't have to learn another language. At home, it was all Spanish. That was it. Like my mom had to know what we were talking about. But now we're older, and she doesn't mind that we all speak English around her. But once I got to Andrea, I'm 59, I'm proud one, I'm 59. I was encountering with such beautiful rainbow there. That's where I encountered all different ethnicities, different cultures, and I embraced it all. And that's what I don't see a lot in some communities where you don't embrace everyone. And I like what I hear in this panel, that you don't see yourself different, better, or worse than anybody else. You guys can weigh in. I'm going to give you a minute because there's still a few more questions. I don't know if Crystal would allow them to come up and ask questions now. We still have a few more questions to our panelists. But thus far, what you've heard already, do you guys have any questions? Have you had any similarities to what you've heard that our panelists have experienced? Or you can share a story of your own now that you've read this book as well. Don't be shy.
Feedback, please feel free. We have 2 mics in the aisles here, and go to either this one down here or this one a little bit further up. Anyone that has any comments?
I come from a Middle Eastern family, so I know exactly what you're talking about the similarities. My biggest symbol would be the dinner table. No matter what was going on, everyone had to be at the dinner table. We all had to discuss our problems. Even if everyone was fighting, my mom didn't hear what we were fighting about. My dad didn't hear everything. So that's kind of the big thing that you don't really see when you're growing up. My friend, I remember growing up in Jamie, and we were 8 years old and riding our bikes. He's like, why are you going home? I was like, it's dinner time. Do you get to go home? He goes, no, I don't. Why did you go home? So it's like trying to explain those kinds of things, like they don't really understand, where you're coming from.
Thank you for sharing that.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing. This has been very interesting, and unfortunately I have to leave. But I did want to say that I think that these types of conversations and dialogue, the book was excellent. I love to read, so whenever we do the one campus, one book, I like to read. But it did open up a lot of things that we need to talk about more in terms of the diversities that we share, to learn more about who we are. And I know that, it's right in the middle of the day and everybody can't come here, but I would love to see this place more packed out than what it is. But for those of us who are here, we got something that everybody else didn't get. So thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that.
going to say one of the questions you asked was, how can you help others that are coming onto campus? Maybe you can establish big sister, little sisters in your own culture to help the new ones that are coming in. So maybe you can establish a group that would maybe help them with the English. I work for the Census Bureau, and I'm just astonished when I go into East Chicago, that's part of my territory. And so many people don't speak English, and they've been here for a long time. So, you know, kind of gave me some understanding of why they don't speak English, they don't think it's necessary. But this has been a really interesting conversation. Dr. Contreras is my professor, so I've learned a lot about your culture, and I appreciate you doing this.
I was going to say again, the previous young lady just said, thank you for sharing your story. I know it's got to be, it's not easy to go in front of a bunch of strangers and talk about this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I did read the book when I was taking that diversity class here at IU, and one thing that from the panel discussion that kind of stuck out in my mind, in 2006 I was deployed to Iraq, and I was attached to the 130th Engineers from Puerto Rico. I know they're considered a part of the United States, but not all of them spoke English. A good majority of them didn't speak English. So I kind of, I feel what you guys are saying when you went there, and you're the minority, and not, you know, you have all these conversations going on around you, and you're trying to, you know, reintegrate and try to conversate with everybody. And it's kind of funny that people don't realize that the louder you speak, it's still the same language. And like people try to yell at you, and, you know, whether you yell in Spanish or yell in English, it's, you know. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing up here. I've learned a lot, and you know, your stories are great. My one question would be for the panel. I don't know how much of you, any of you have kids, but is there anything that you guys have learned from your parents that have struggled so hard and pushed so hard for you guys to be successful that you're going to do, that you see that you would kind of follow up in the future to help them be better than you as you guys strive to be better than your parents?
Well, I don't have kids at the moment, but
You're only 18,
I'm
right?
only 18. Like I said, it's just something my mom always told me growing up. It was just to believe in yourself no matter what, and only you can push yourself to do what you want to do in life. So at the end of the day, you're the only person that's going to be standing there. There's no one beside you. So I would tell my children just the fact that just believe in yourself. I mean, you're here for a reason. So make the best of it. Yeah.
What I would like to pass on for my children, I don't have children either. But my parents, like I always said, my mom was always brought from a poor family. That did not stop her from working hard and becoming the person that she is now. That's what I want to pass on to my children. To keep on working hard. Like for me, I don't have everything in life. Like I have to work for everything. I have to work for my clothes, for my shoes, for my bills, for if I want a car, which I'm going to get one soon. I have to work for it, you know, everything's not easy. And that's what I want to pass on to my children, so they could learn how to appreciate everything that they have in life. So when my parents give me money to buy my book, oh my God, like, you know, I pray, I sing, because I really appreciate all the help. That's what I want to show my children, to be humble and to appreciate every little thing that they have, and to keep on working hard to get where they want to be.
For me, what I would pass on, you know, maybe, hopefully I get kids by 35, so I'm a little bit older than somebody. But, really what I want to pass on to my children is they're able to do anything. Like, I believe that, especially with the new age, the new generation, once the baby boomers are gone, I pray that there's a lot less prejudices against different races, different sexual orientations, different things that I know when I'm talking to a younger generation, those are things we don't even care about. You know, for us, there's not going to be Medicare or Medicaid. We're not going to have that. And we need to prepare ourselves and prepare our children that they have to make their own money. You know, I will do what my parents did and make the same sacrifices. And that's why I'm in nursing school, because I'm like, I can barely take care of me. I got a family and kids to take care of. I need to improve my life. You know, if someone complains about, oh God, a dead-end job, or oh, I wish I had this and that, if you're gonna complain to me and you're not doing anything positive to do it, stop, because I can't hear it. Now, if you're in a situation where you're doing it, you're not sleeping well, you're studying your butt off, you're working your head off, you know, you get blessings here and there that people are helping you out, and you're complaining to me, you go on and complain, because you deserve to. For my children, I want them to even succeed more than I can. I mean, be a senator, be a president, be anything that you want to be. I want to instill in them really what I have to be humble, understand where your place is at times, and understand that you cannot be scared of anything. You know, I think that's a big part that people get scared to talk to, like let's say we're in college right now, a professor is reporting, because the professor does not treat them with respect. Well, maybe when I was 18, I would have been like, oh, that's okay that they, you know, were kind of rude to you. It's not okay for anyone to be rude to you. Like, those are certain things that maybe it's because I'm Mexican, and maybe this, like, this guilt that, oh, it's okay that, you know, someone did that, I'll be okay. And it's not okay. I want to make sure that my children, as boys and girls, understand to stick up for themselves and to be their own person. You know, that the only thing they have is their faith and education that people can't take away. So good.
I can add on to that. I went to a Catholic school through elementary and middle school actually, and we had a vocab test. And I remember in the vocab test, there was 3 vocabulary words down in Spanish, and after we wrote all the vocabulary words down, the last part of the test was that we had to write a sentence. So thinking to the fact that the words in Spanish were, honestly, I'm trying to remember what the word was, but I remember I wrote the sentence in Spanish just being, I was playing around, and I didn't think she was gonna get mad. I thought that, you know, I was gonna get the grade, I deserved it and everything. And when the next day came, she gave me my paper back, and she left a comment on it, and she said to write it in English, that she said, I didn't understand what this meant, but next time to write in English, and she marked it wrong. So I remember I looked at it and I was just like, all right, I didn't think nothing big of it. And so once I went home, I was like, oh, let me see your paper. I heard, I know you have your vocab test back, and I actually showed it to her. And when she saw that comment, she was really upset about it because, you know, just what she said. And I ended up going to school the next day, and my teacher apologized to me for what the comment she said. And I was like, and she apologized to me. I was like, what are you saying so hard for? And then she said, well, your mom came to school and told me about it. And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Like, Mom, why would you come to school about that? But now, I know, you know, I understand. And of course, I was like, you're crazy for that. But now I understand.
So what I see in all 40, what I heard, and that was a great question that you asked, thank you. We want to know what we're going to do for our children versus what was done for us. My parents didn't talk to me about the birds and bees. My father worked in the mill his whole life. I was not a daddy's girl. I was the second to the youngest of 8. I would think I'd be daddy's girl, right? Not even close. But now I'm daddy's girl because now I'm taking care of my dad, 81 years old. So I treat him like he's my child, so I baby him. And what I hear here is you're going to do great once you become parents, no time soon, I hope, because success should be the first thing, education. Make sure that you have something to offer to that spouse or parent, but make sure that you have a great foundation for your children so that they don't have to go through any obstacles or challenges that you all have to go through. With me, I have 2 children, 19 and 14, and I don't want them to struggle through anything. I worked my way through high school. I paid my high school education. I gave up going after school like everybody else did to the mall, to the movies, and all that great stuff. I didn't do any of that. I didn't know what that felt like to be hanging out with my friends. And I love seeing my 19-year-old hanging out with his friends at my house. I love it. They call me Mom. I love it. And my 14-year-old, I haven't gotten her that open door yet to bring me new friends and all the friends thing. But I don't let them see me struggle. I'm a single parent because everything is fine. It's all about a positive attitude. And it's all about learning from what our parents used to do or did not do, make sure that we do it. My mother never went to school other than my father. So just because they didn't mean I shouldn't. Just because I didn't go as far as I want my kids to go to doesn't mean they should. So there should be no barriers anymore. Learn the world, teach the world to everyone. And this is what I'm learning just from being the moderator here is the thoughts and the minds and the spirits that we all have here under one roof. And yes, it should be more well attended, and it will be next time. And I'll make sure, I'm with WLTH Radio, so I have that now. I've been promoting this. When Dr. Brock had invited me to come, I was like, oh, this is great, because I'm all about diversity. And I love it, because we all have to learn from each other. No one is better than another at all. This skin color means nothing. You peel me off, we're the same. We breathe the same, we breathe the same. And we're gonna go back to the questions, and thank you for participating and asking or commenting on this. And there are a few more questions, and I know that time is of the essence. The roles of women are a big focus in the book. So how has beauty been used as a source of power in your life? What challenges has this issue had on traditional gender roles, and what measures were needed to correct misconceptions? I know you mentioned a little bit on that. So anyone wants to answer first? The roles of women are a big focus in the book. So how has beauty been used as a source of power in your life? And what challenges has this issue had on traditional gender roles, with what measures were needed to correct misconceptions?
For me, growing up, I was always tall. I was always tall, fat, that's how I saw myself. And now I look back, I'm like, I was thin. I was ugly the size I was in high school. But I went to high school, these white girls were a size like 2. And, you know, I was a size 10. And I ain't a size C cup. You know, I was huge. Like, when I was in 5th grade, I was 5'4". So, for me, it's like if my mom would let me wear certain clothes that the other girls would wear. And now I see, because if I wore them, I would look like, you know, like an adult, where older men would look at me the way they shouldn't. You know, so I had a lot that I had to go through, and I don't know if that even has to do with the Latin American culture, but it took me a while to be okay in my skin. It took me to go away to school and to realize who I was, to be okay with being Mexican American and understanding that in all ways possible, where I don't know if, you know, you guys have identity issues like at 18, but I know I did, you know. I would have never at your age, or I would have started to speak up against my parents. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. You cannot make me feel that guilty. No. You know, things that if you're not Mexican American, you don't understand that. Like, that parents, they just have this guilt trip with you. It wasn't an identity thing that now, you know, I'm chunky, I'm alright, I have a great personality. I'm not, I've seen uglier girls, I'm good.
She's very vocal. So you're saying, in that sense, the way you were feeling, was beauty it didn't even take any as a source of power in your life. So it actually, not even empowered you, it lost your power because of how you thought about what you looked like. Compared to the other women, not realizing that you are an individual.
And all my cousins were like, they're all still petite. They're like 5 foot, 4'11", 102 pounds. You know, all of them. So I always thought, oh, big fat Mexican girl. That's all I did. You know.
The roles of women are a big focus in the book. How has beauty been used as a source of power in your life? And what challenges has this issue held on traditional gender roles, and what measures were needed to correct misconceptions?
I would say in my life as me as a person, but I was growing up, raised, well, not really being raised, was heard growing up that the women's, in the Hispanic culture, the women's are the ones that are being stable moms, being the ones taking care of the kids, and the they did have a job, they were either a nurse, a secretary, a teacher, not much of authority in that. So I feel that the power of beauty, it has to have value. I feel that the more the beauty it is, the more value it has. And you can sit down and listen to, for example, I don't know if it resembles to it, but you can sit down to a person and they might not even be an attractive person, but you sit there and you don't really pay as much attention, you really don't care, but when you find somebody attractive, I mean, that tension's there, you want to be the first one to be like, yeah, oh, what's your problem, what's wrong? So I feel the fact that beauty has value, and it can take away a lot of stuff in life in general.
So you value more the exterior beauty, you're saying? Okay. That's something that really shouldn't be valued, is the external beauty, but it does sell. You see a lot of it on TV, right? It does sell. But if it looks good, people buy it. But that's looking at the doll that's wearing it. If you put it on, and that's a totally different story. Listen.
I grew up with two sisters, and I've seen this whole, you're talking about machismo. You know, I seen it, you know, when I was growing up, you know, me and my brother, we were always allowed to do whatever we wanted, come home whenever we wanted and stuff. And thank God my dad changed. He kind of just went away with that. Now my sister doesn't do one. So I kind of saw that, you know, my sisters, they were always like protecting them more and stuff. To your question, talk about beauty. One of my sisters always thought, you know, she was more beautiful than the other, and I felt like in my family, they would always be like, oh, I'm more beautiful than you, but you know, like it did have some power. To me, I don't think beauty has any kind of power. I mean, it does, you know, because it is what it sells, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't, you know, and it doesn't always sell. You know, there's situations where somebody's not gonna hire you just because you're beautiful. You know,
Right, right?
Exactly.
So what would you say that, any one of you say that what measures are actually needed to correct that misconception? Because we do have a big misconception of what beauty really is, or should be.
I would just have to do the media propaganda. I mean, you know, I just went out and bought the new Marc Jacobs nail polish because I was like, oh God, I thought, you know, I broke, but I bought it. It looks good. You know?
There's that beauty, right?
You know, that's nail polish, you know, I mean, it was really great though, and I don't know if anybody reads, but like, in the September Vogue magazine, they actually had a plus size girl, very emo looking, in one of the advertisements, and I have never seen that before. I mean, her clothes did fit her well and everything, and it was pretty cool, because there's a lot of girls out there who are like that. And they're gonna see that, and that manufacturer, they're gonna go out and buy those clothes. So it was pretty cool, because usually they don't have any plus size clothing, you know. That was the stuff that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's, you know, slowly changing, like that whole, you know, beauty of everything is slowly changing. So I see that as something positive. What can we do? I'm not sure, but we're doing something.
I think our families have to teach us that beauty is not just the exterior stuff, it's about the inner. That's the most beautiful thing in a person, is their personality, their character, how they are, and their brain. You know, me as a person, I don't consider myself as the most beautiful girl, and I don't use that to get my way. I try to, you know, to get my inner beauty more out there, my personality in the people. That's I get more friends and stuff. I believe that our families have to teach us, and us, we have to teach the future generations that beauty, the exterior beauty, is not just anything. It's the interior beauty that counts to be someone in life.
So the next question, I know we're close to our time. It's up before, so we've been great dialogue here, great to hear and understand how you guys have come to be here where you are now, and through your obstacles and your challenges. has brought you where you are now, and now you're panelists and you're brave and just sitting here just discussing your personal life and learning from each other. So how has family affected your understanding yourself, your ability, and your future success? Okay, no, somebody else?
I can start.
Okay,
So, something that, I felt like my parents did, especially my dad, when I was growing up, that helped me find myself, helped me where I am today, was he never really gave me everything, he never gave me anything like that. He would always, he would tell me, hey, go fix the car, and I had no idea, how to fix a car. But I think like those little things, I would hate as a little kid, like I don't know how to do this, or I don't know what you want me to do. It would put me in those situations, but it would make me think. Now eventually problem solve. Now that now I can fix a car, I can change light bulb, I can do the whole electricity in the house. Like those little things is just made me more confident on myself now, and I feel like it made me more successful.
So you'll have a better success in your future.
Correct.
Knowing that you can.
Knowing that I can do what I I don't have to know. If I put my mind to it, I can do it.
I feel just the fact that growing up, I was like a good support for my family, and like my dad, he's not really always around. Again, he works in CML as well. I grew up with my dad always working, so my mom played with both mom and dad side at home at a lot. Because and I just feel that it towards my success now I'm here going to school, going to college. I mean, I owe that to her because honestly, I don't think that I would be standing here right now if it wasn't for her, and for her always encouraging me to just be a better person every day and to just do the thing. And now I appreciate everything, and I appreciate everything more now. Seeing growing up always being taught.
So would you say that you all have overcome your challenges or obstacles where you are now? And if so, can anyone of you four share how did you overcome that?
I'm a little bit older, so there's issues like that we don't even have time to get into in this panel. But as Mexican American, for me, a big challenge has to do with my father, with his machismo, and his issue. Years and years of therapy of me, your therapist saying, this is not your fault. This is his issue. You either accept it or you move on. And it's deep rooted in the culture, I mean, as a woman, that. And he didn't call me, he didn't have prejudice because he grew up in Mexico, I was Mexican. So we never had prejudice, in our household. I didn't even understand, to watching TV or speaking to other kids about, I never knew there was, a difference between, black and white until, the white kids would tell me that I'm Mexican. And I'm like, oh, because
guys enjoy this panel discussion? Did you learn something from it? Does it make you feel any better or different or at all? Please stand up to the mic. I want to hear. You're shaking your head then.
Oh, she's a little shy. Right. I will actually share, maybe that will encourage
Yeah, there you go.
students to share as well. One of the biggest things that I remember reading this book when I was in grade school. And this isn't a new book, it's a pretty old book as far as copyright. But I remember reading this book and thinking, oh my God, I feel like I was living the same life. Now, I am not Hispanic. I have no Hispanic family members outside of just regular marriages and things like that. But what struck me the most from the book were all the common things that were a part of my life growing up. So everything that you guys have been talking about today are not things that are just specific to one particular ethnic group or another. It's really nice to be able to hear that you experienced something, and maybe it was a little different, but many of us also experience a lot of the same things. And our experience may just be a little different as well, but we're still talking about challenges. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing all of that.
And it's great, and you guys need to work together and building bridges. What we as older people aren't doing, that's your job to do. Pick up where we're all leaving off. You guys, and I always say, I don't burn bridges, I build bridges. That's what you guys need to do. Embrace everything that comes your way, because there's no such thing as you can't do. Put your mind to it, you can. And I'm just going to bring someone to life and ask me anything you can ask me. Dr. Contreras has been here a while, and I want to ask you a question pertaining to the panel, what you heard from these kids. Back in the 70s and the 80s, what difference, if you see anything different or similar from what you heard from this panel versus, because I know you had many students going to you. You were their mentor, and you still are. You were their counselor, the person to hold a hand. I know that of you. You might not remember me, but you had a student back here in the 80s, and I would come with her. What do you see different or similar? Compared to the challenges of what they were in the 70s and the 80s.
I don't know her personally, my parents say this is good something, but I've met her at conferences, so I know, I'm not saying, oh, I know her, but, you know, I talked and read different things, you know, like, really important to her, I know, and then, you know, like, there's a house of language, success is like a house someplace else, you know, and getting away. But all the time she's talking about that, she says, you gotta go away and then you come back, you know, and that's her way of saying that central to finding her and learning who she was, is understanding that the individual identity can't be separated from the group that she's from. Success for her was being part of, you know, the recruiting things. It was like an acknowledgement, like, on the one hand, as a young person, her reality was very contradictory, you know, all these things, the relationships with her father, this and that, and looking at, you know, that she's having a hard time, you know, and it's almost like she's saying, I hate this, I want to get away from it. And yet, always she understands, I gotta come back, I gotta come back to my community. And anyway, that's the thing that came out explicitly for her, realizing who she is as an individual is coming to understand she's part of this community. She's investing part of her success, the success of the community, being a part of the struggle of the places. I think that when I think about like, hey, what maybe a romanticize, when I think about well, what was positive about us there in the 70s, 80s, is that we really made a really
to our community. You young kids, we'd like to see you come back to the community and give back to the community. What IUN is doing for you, come back and say, if Crystal stood here, Dr. Contreras is here, look what I have now that I can bring to your community, to our community where I started here at IUN. I can now teach here, or I can now share, I can now be a motivational speaker that you're inviting me, because I'm bringing back, I'm giving back to the community. Never keep anything to yourselves. I was here not too long ago with Keeping the Dream Alive. I don't know if you guys were here or not, but that was a great movement. I heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, Bernice King, and she left me something when she said, and I understood myself even better, and I want to leave this to you. She asked in the church when she was giving her speech, where is the wealthiest place on earth? Does anyone know? The grave, the cemetery. And why is that? Well, we have wise people that were buried, that took everything with them. Their knowledge, their love, their compassion, their faith, everything, they buried it. They did not share it. And I'm not going to die full, I'm going to die empty. So you young kids, give back, give everything that you've learned to the community, to your kids, to your students, to whomever. Die empty. So that won't be the wealthiest place, and earth can be among everyone else. And I want to thank Ms. Crystal and Dr. Brown again for inviting me and being here. And tune in to WLTH. I'm on from Monday through Friday at 7 in the evening. I want to talk about this tonight because this was an impact for me to hear what our young students are still thinking and going through. Thank you. And thank you. You guys are great. Thank you.
I just want to again say thank you to everyone for coming out. Thank you to the panel. You guys did a phenomenal job. Probably one of the biggest themes out of your discussions today were centered around the concept of empowerment. How do you become empowered? So thank you so much, because I think that even that last statement gave everybody a lot of food for thought about how not only we become empowered, but how we pass that on to others. So thank you so much. Just as a reminder, once again, we are focusing on a lot of these issues that are centered within the text, the House on Mango Street, for the entire 2013-2014 academic year. Every single month, we're hosting several events during that month, and where we're highlighting a lot of these issues. So I really do want to encourage everyone to stay tuned to your emails. We have a lot of flyers that are out for you. There are some in the back of the room if you'd like to take some, just to kind of stay aware of some of the events that we're having. Definitely in October, the next event will be October 9th, where there will be a screening and a discussion of When Worlds Collide. It's a wonderful opportunity to talk about the historical aspect of Hispanic culture, and not just here in this country, but also